Imagine preparing your favorite meal. You carefully choose fresh vegetables, quality meat, or perfectly cooked pasta, then reach for your spices, expecting them to bring everything to life. But instead of rich aromas and balanced flavors, the final dish tastes flat, dull, or somehow incomplete. The surprising truth is that the problem often isn't the recipe or your cooking skills. It's how the spices are being used. Professional chefs understand that spices are more than ingredients. They are tools, and like any tool, they only work properly when used at the right moment, in the right way, and for the right purpose. In this video, we'll explore 7 of the most common spice mistakes that quietly ruin home cooking, and more importantly, how a few simple changes can dramatically improve the flavor of almost everything you make. One of the biggest mistakes is using spices that have already lost their flavor. Unlike salt, spices don't last forever. Over time, exposure to air, light, heat, and moisture causes the aromatic compounds inside them to slowly break down. A jar of paprika or ground cumin that has been sitting in the cupboard for 3 or 4 years may still add color to your food, but much of its aroma has already disappeared. That means your recipes can taste disappointing even when you followed every step correctly. Whole spices generally stay fresh much longer than ground ones because their essential oils remain protected until they are crushed or ground. A simple habit of checking the aroma before cooking can make a remarkable difference. If you open a jar and barely smell anything, your food probably won't either. Another common mistake is skipping one of the oldest techniques in cooking, blooming spices. In many cuisines, especially across India, the Middle East, and North Africa, whole spices are briefly cooked in hot oil or fat before other ingredients are added. This isn't just tradition, it's food science. Heat helps release fat-soluble aromatic compounds, allowing spices like cumin, mustard seeds, coriander, and fennel to develop deeper, richer flavors that spread throughout the entire dish. If those same spices are simply stirred into liquid later, much of their potential remains locked away. Blooming only takes a few seconds, but it creates a stronger and more complex flavor foundation from the very beginning. Ground spices deserve a little more care because they can burn surprisingly quickly. Many home cooks add paprika, turmeric, garlic powder, or curry powder to a very hot dry pan, only to discover that the finished dish tastes bitter instead of fragrant. Ground spices contain delicate compounds that break down rapidly when exposed to excessive heat. Professional cooks usually add them after onions, garlic, or other vegetables have softened, or they stir them into oil for only a few seconds before adding liquid ingredients. That brief window is enough to wake up their flavors without destroying them. Understanding the difference between blooming and burning is one of the simplest ways to make homemade food taste more balanced and professional. Timing is another detail that separates good cooking from great cooking. Not every spice should be added at the beginning of a recipe. Black pepper, for example, loses much of its fresh aroma during long cooking, which is why many chefs finish a dish with freshly ground pepper just before serving. Fresh herbs such as parsley, cilantro, and basil also benefit from being added near the end to preserve their bright flavors. On the other hand, spices like cinnamon sticks, cloves, bay leaves, and star anise need time to slowly infuse soups, stews, and sauces. Knowing which ingredients benefit from long cooking and which should be saved for the final moments allows every spice to contribute exactly what it does best. Many people also rely almost entirely on pre-ground spices because they're convenient, but convenience often comes at the cost of flavor. The moment a spice is ground, it begins losing the volatile oils responsible for much of its aroma. That's why freshly ground black pepper smells dramatically stronger than pepper that has been pre-ground for months. The same is true for cumin, coriander, cardamom, and many other spices. You don't need an expensive spice grinder to experience the difference. A simple mortar and pestle or a small electric grinder can unlock aromas that most people have never experienced from supermarket spice jars. Even grinding just enough for each recipe can noticeably improve the final result. Another mistake is assuming that more spices automatically create more flavor. In reality, adding too many different spices often makes it harder to taste any of them. Great spice blends are carefully balanced so that each ingredient contributes something unique without overpowering the others. Think of an orchestra. Every instrument has its role, but if they all play at maximum volume, the music becomes noise. Cooking works the same way. Sometimes a dish only needs black pepper, cumin, and coriander. Other times, a single cinnamon stick or a few cloves are enough. Learning when to stop adding spices is just as important as knowing which ones to choose. The final mistake is never tasting your food as it cooks. Recipes provide a starting point, but ingredients naturally vary. One batch of cumin may be stronger than another. Chili peppers can range from mild to extremely hot. Fresh herbs change with the seasons, and even vegetables differ in sweetness depending on when they were harvested. Professional chefs constantly taste, adjust, and taste again because cooking is a process of observation, not simply following instructions. A final pinch of salt, another grind of black pepper, or a touch more acidity can completely transform a dish in its last few minutes. Developing the habit of tasting while you cook is one of the fastest ways to become a more competent and consistent cook. Understanding spices isn't about memorizing hundreds of recipes or buying expensive ingredients. It's about learning how flavor is built, how heat changes aroma, and how small decisions throughout the cooking process create remarkable differences on the plate. Once you begin recognizing what each spice contributes and when it performs best, you'll start cooking with intention instead of guesswork, and every meal will become an opportunity to create deeper, richer, and more balanced flavors. If you enjoyed this journey into the science of spices and want to become more competent in the kitchen, make sure to subscribe to Flavor Atlas and join us for future episodes where we'll explore individual spices, flavor pairing, cooking techniques, and the fascinating science behind cuisines from around the world. And if you're ready to take your understanding even further, check out The Science of Spice, Master Flavor Pairing Like a Chef, where we dive deeper into how spices behave in real cooking and how to use them like a professional. Until next time, keep exploring, keep experimenting, and remember that every great dish begins with understanding flavor.